joined by my husband, Cody.
What's up, guys?
Guitar dude. And we're gonna answer your most asked questions about changing your strings on your guitar. The guitar that we are going to be showing you today is the Cort Gold OC6, and Cort is our guitar sponsor for the month. So you're gonna be seeing more of this guitar. I actually unboxed it last year, so I'll link that video below if you wanna check it out. Absolutely love it. So excited to finally change the strings on it because it desperately needs it.
Yeah.
So how often should you change your strings? So some people recommend 4 to 6 weeks. Some people recommend 6 months. How often would you say that we actually change our strings?
More like once a year. We definitely should change our strings more often, but because we play multiple guitars and stuff, we don't end up changing them quite as often as we probably should. So
yeah, it's when you have multiple guitars in rotation, it kind of makes it easier to get away with putting off string changes.
typically, I think about 6 months, depending on how much you play, is a pretty good number.
Yes.
Maybe 3 to 6 months, also depending on what kind of strings you use.
Yes, so really it comes down to, like Cody said, how often you play and the quality of your strings, which we'll get into what kind of strings that we use in a little bit. But there are some indicators that you can look for that you can see, either hear or feel. So let's go ahead and go over what we can see, hear, and feel. When we look at these strings, what do we see here, Cody?
Well, the main thing is that these strings are pretty discolored. Usually whenever you get new strings, it depends on the kind of string, but they'll be kind of shiny and more brassy looking. And these are almost more bronze looking now. They're kind of a darker kind of color like that. That's typically, whenever they're discolored like that, a good time to...
They're very dull
Yeah.
looking.
They are.
Yeah, they've lost their luster.
Right, literally.
So the next sign to look for is how your strings actually feel.
Yeah, so whenever you're actually playing the guitar, your strings should feel pretty smooth underneath your fingers on your fretting hand, and even on your picking hand if you're doing finger picking and stuff like that. They should feel pretty smooth whenever you're sliding around, and if they're starting to feel rough, that's a pretty good indicator that it's time to change your strings.
Now the final indicator that you can look for is how your strings sound. So if you can remember back to, or if you have a recording of just after changing your strings and playing your guitar, if you can listen to how your guitar sounded in the past with fresh strings, and then listen to how it currently sounds, there might be a significant difference in your tone. And if it sounds very dull, just not as bright, probably need to change your strings.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're actually gonna be changing the strings of this Cort on Cody's channel. So we'll link to it after this video. We're gonna show you a before and after of how this guitar sounds. So Cody, give us a strum, like play something.
I'm just gonna strum like a good single G chord so that you guys can have a good point of reference. Just a plain normal G chord sounds like this. Sounds pretty good, but it is a little bit dull.
I can hear it.
It's lost a lot of the brightness that would be kind of there with some fresh strings. Check out my channel. We're gonna do a guitar changing string video and teach you guys how to change strings on a guitar.
We're gonna give him a clip now. That's a crisp sounding G chord.
Sounds and feels like a brand new guitar.
So we covered sight, sound, and touch. Those are the signs that you can look for to know when it is time to change your strings. Now we're gonna go ahead and hop over to Cody's channel where we are going to change the strings on this dusty, surf waxed Cort guitar. It is an amazing guitar and I can't wait for you guys to hear how it sounds, and we will see you over there.
See you over there, guys.
Yeah.